You've seen the videos, the palm trees, the sunshine, the whole no state income tax flex, everyone making it seem like South Florida is some kind of real estate utopia. But here's the thing, most of those videos, they're the same recycled pitch over and over. Beaches, bikinis, tax breaks, yeah, it's cool, but they skip the stuff that actually matters when you're deciding on where to live. There's actually one thing that drives more people out of South Florida than hurricanes, and it's not even on most people's radar. But then at the same time, there's a reason so many people are actually packing up their entire lives and heading down here to South Florida right now. And it's not just for the weather, which is normally pretty nice, except now in the summer in the afternoons, it does rain pretty much every day. But let's hit pause on the hype for a second, because living in South Florida, it's not just a lifestyle, it's a decision. One that really rewards the bold and will completely punish the unprepared. This video is for the people who want the absolute truth, not just this shiny brochure. Let's start off with what you do get right. South Florida delivers a lifestyle that most people in the United States can only dream about all year round. We're talking weekday morning paddleboarding before meetings, maybe even school, kids playing soccer in January while your friends are shoveling snow up north. Yeah, no thank you. Dock and dine lunches, Sunday sandbars and brunches, gym sessions with the garage door wide open in February. And it's not just about the sunshine, it's about what you can do with it. Whether you're into boating, biking, outdoor fitness, or you just want to sip on your coffee in 75-degree weather every single morning, this place makes that lifestyle feel pretty much effortless. And for a lot of people, that's not just a luxury, that's the entire goal. More time outside, more movement, and less stress overall. That's the kind of daily rhythm that actually sticks, and it's a huge part of why so many people actually stay. So yeah, the lifestyle can be absolutely incredible, but here's the twist. South Florida is changing, and fast. The pace of development, the types of people moving in, and even the way the neighborhoods feel, all of it is shifting right now. There is a massive wave of new construction, international investment, and high net worth relocations flooding in. While that could bring opportunity and a ton of excitement, it also comes with some tension. Think traffic, noise, rising prices, and a local culture that's fighting to keep up. But what does that all mean for you? Whether you're already here or thinking about making the move, the next few years could really redefine what living in South Florida even looks like. If you're watching this because you're seriously thinking about making a move, don't wait until you're overwhelmed with options. My team and I help people like you every single day figure out where to start, what to focus on, and how to make the move the right way. You can reach out by call, text, or email using the information on the screen or down in the description. We'd love to help you get ahead of things. That excitement people feel when they first land here, it's real, but it's usually followed by a moment of sticker shock. And it often starts with the part that nobody warned them about: insurance. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, insurance. Insurance in South Florida isn't just a line item, it's a financial curveball. What might seem like a reasonable $5,000 policy at first glance can easily balloon upwards to $10,000 once you factor in everything. And this isn't uncommon, especially for homes near the water, with older roofs, non-impact windows, or built before newer construction codes. One of the biggest surprises for buyers is how insurance can impact the closing process. Depending on the condition of the home, your lender may not approve financing unless certain upgrades or repairs are made. Think about this, no roof upgrade, that could stop things right in their tracks. Outdated wiring like cloth sheath, maybe even older plumbing like cast iron, that's some red flags right there. Then there's flood insurance. Even if the home isn't even in a flood zone, the lender may still request it based on local elevation or recent weather trends. And if the home isn't a designated flood zone, yeah, that policy is non-negotiable. Good luck with it there. I know it sucks, but you gotta do it. This doesn't mean the deal falls apart though. It means you need to know what to look for early in the process. A smooth closing in South Florida often comes down to having the right team in place, whether it's an inspection team, the insurance advisor, and enough flexibility in your budget to handle any surprises if they do show up. Let's be real, there are few places in the entire country that offer the cultural mix that you'll find here in South Florida. You got New Yorkers, Venezuelans, Colombians, Californians, Midwest transplants, Europeans, crypto bros, entrepreneurs, gym bros, retirees, Gen Z remote workers. All right, you get it, but they're all living in the same zip code. That kind of diversity brings energy. You hear multiple languages on a daily basis. There's no shortage of perspectives, traditions, and most importantly, flavor. That's why the food scene is so good here. It's honestly the best in all of Florida. It's why there's always something happening, why it feels like things are moving even when you could be standing still. But that same dynamic can also make South Florida feel completely disconnected. There isn't one unifying culture. For example, sports loyalty is all over the place. We're not a diehard city. Go Birds. People move in and out constantly. Neighborhoods could feel more like transitions rather than long-term communities. And some buyers and renters actually feel this right away, especially if they're coming from a city with a strong local identity or deep generational roots. It's not necessarily a bad thing though. It just means you might have to put in a little bit more work to build connections. Whether that's through your kid's school, a local gym, social club, run club, or even the building that you live in, the events that they put on. It often takes intentional effort to turn neighbors into friends. The upside though, you're not alone and you're not boxed in. You don't have to fit a mold here. You can really carve out your own space, your own rhythm, and what really feels like home to you. And for the right kind of person, that freedom can be a huge win. South Florida is undergoing a significant transformation. From Miami to Fort Lauderdale and even West Palm, the skyline is evolving with a surge of new developments that are redefining the region's urban landscape. For example, in Miami, the Waldorf Astoria Hotel and Residences is set to become the city's tallest building upon its expected completion here in 2027. This 100-story skyscraper will offer luxury residences and hotel accommodations, making a new era of vertical living in downtown Miami. The design is unlike anything we've ever seen before in South Florida. Meanwhile, in Fort Lauderdale, we're experiencing its own development boom with projects like Umbel, Andare, and the St. Regis Bahia Mar that are introducing upscale condo living with top-notch amenities. Think 100,000 square feet of amenities with rooftop pools, private marinas, and the first Equinox coming to Fort Lauderdale. These developments are attracting attention for their modern design and amenities, and most importantly, their price points, because they actually start under $1 million. In West Palm though, there is a huge boom being fueled by billionaire developer and the owner of the Miami Dolphins, Stephen Ross, who wants to completely transform West Palm into the Wall Street of the South. From new condos like the Ritz-Carlton West Palm, the Mr. C residences, and even South Flagler House, not to mention a new hospital and a transformation of City Place, bringing new restaurants, shops, and even an Equinox. While these projects bring new opportunities and amenities, they are also introducing some challenges. Increased construction can lead to traffic, congestion, noise, and changes in neighborhood dynamics. Longtime residents may find the once quiet streets becoming just a tad bit busier and the character of certain areas shifting as new developments start to rise from the ground. For prospective residents and investors though, it's essential to stay informed about these changes. You have to understand the scope and the impact of ongoing projects that can help in making decisions that align with personal preferences and your lifestyle goals at the end of the day. No state income tax is easily one of the biggest draws for people moving to South Florida. But what is often overlooked is how quickly those savings can get eaten up by your day-to-day basic expenses that are what most people don't even expect. For example, let's talk about parking. Think about downtown Fort Lauderdale, Miami, or Brickell easily can run you 20 to 40 bucks, and valet is almost assumed in any places, even if you're just grabbing something quick or like a coffee. Beach parking, better just plan for $25 right off the rip. Groceries, gas, childcare, maybe even dining, all of it tends to be a little bit higher than the national average, especially if you're living out east or in some of the more walkable areas. Casual date night out can easily become $150 to $200 a night with drinks, tips, and parking. Trust me, these hinge dates add up fast out here. There are also lifestyle premiums. Want to join a local gym, yacht club, social club, Pilates? Monthly fees can range from manageable to absolutely mind-blowing, depending on the exclusivity and the location. And in many neighborhoods, you're paying those premiums simply to stay connected and active within the community. And honestly, I do think it's worth it for the connections alone. Now, this isn't a reason to completely avoid South Florida. It's just a reminder to look past the headline numbers. That tax saving number, yeah, it's real, but it also helps to take a look at the full picture. For some people, it's still a net positive, while others, it's an unexpected budget squeeze that slowly starts to add up. Everything that we've covered so far has a trade-off. The lifestyle, the culture, the development, the costs, it all depends on what you're looking for. But there is one factor that has quietly become the deciding one for people to decide whether they stay in South Florida versus they ultimately leave South Florida. And it's not about the money, it's not about the weather. It's actually something much deeper than that. And if you're not aware of it before making the move here, it can either make your experience unforgettable or turn it into the reason that you ultimately leave within a year. And we're getting to that next. We help a lot of relocation buyers here, and a while back I was actually working with a couple moving from New York City. They were over the cold, the chaos, and ready for a slower, sunnier pace. Pretty much sounds like everyone from New York. We found them the perfect home here in East Fort Lauderdale, bright, open, walkable, exactly the lifestyle that they had been dreaming about for years. But about 6 months in, they reached out to me, not to rave about the weather or the house, but to say that they're actually thinking about selling. Not because anything was wrong with the house or even the area, but ultimately they just didn't feel like they belonged. They missed their community, their friends back in New York City. South Florida's fast-paced, transient vibe can make it hard to really put down roots. So what we did was we sat down, we had a real conversation. I introduced them to a few other clients with kids around the same age as theirs, helped them get plugged into a local gym that they loved, got them into some neighborhood events and even some social clubs. And slowly but surely, things started to shift and change. They made some friends, built routines, and found their spots. And now they're still in the house and they're still absolutely loving it. Not just because it's a great house, I mean it was, but because now it feels like a home. The truth is, buying the house is just step one. Feeling connected, supported, and plugged in, that's what really makes it real. You don't just need the right house, you need the right support system after you close on that house. If you ask people why they moved to South Florida, you'll get a laundry list of things: the weather, taxes, boating, nightlife, the beach access. But ask why they decide to stay and it gets quieter, more personal. It really hit me after I moved back from playing football at Troy in college. Been locked into football for so long, you know the routine. Early lifts, meetings, film, practice. Never really slowed down until I graduated and came back home. One day after getting back, we're just out on the boat on a Sunday, not in football season, so no plans, no distractions. Boat's just cruising by, sun was shining, music blasting, drinks were flowing a little bit. And that breeze you really only get out on the water. And I remember thinking, damn, dude, we're really blessed to live here. People dream about living here, and I was able to grow up here. It's not just about the weather, it's about what the weather really allows and just the overall lifestyle. The calm, the spontaneity, the small moments that make you feel like you're actually living, not just going through a typical routine. These are the parts of South Florida that don't show up in market reports or on some of the listing photos, but they're often the reason that people never leave South Florida. So now you've seen the big picture, the perks, the pressure points, the stuff nobody really tells you up front. And this isn't a place that works because of one thing. It works when the full picture fits for you, when the trade-offs feel worth it, when the lifestyle lines up with what you actually value on a day-to-day basis. If you're someone who needs seasons, structure, or predictability, honestly, South Florida might drive you a little crazy. But if you're looking for energy, freedom, movement, and the chance to build a rhythm in a life that's truly yours, not one that you just inherited, this could be the place that everything you've been looking for. And there's no one-size-fits-all answer here. When it fits in a way that's really hard to shake. Now look, I'm not here to sell South Florida is perfect. It's not. It's fast, it's intense, and at times completely unpredictable. But for the right person, it's exactly what they've been looking for. The flexibility, the access, the lifestyle that lets you design your days instead of just surviving them. That's what keeps people here. And I live here because it fits exactly how I want to live. Not just where I want to be, but how I want to feel on a day-to-day basis. I've seen people move down here with the most stats I've ever seen and then absolutely love it. I've seen others arrive full of excitement and then realize this is not what Instagram made it look like at all. This is not for me. And that's what this video is all about. It's not about whether South Florida is right or wrong. It's about helping you figure out if it's right for you. Now, if this video brought up questions you didn't even know you had, honestly, that's a good thing. That means you're approaching this move with clarity instead of just excitement. And that's what we do. My team and I help people sort through the hype, the headlines, and the real options on the ground so that they can make smart moves that actually stick. So whether you're relocating, looking for a second home, maybe in a vacation home, or just exploring what life here could actually look like, you can reach out to my team via text, call, or email using the information on the screen or down in the description. We're here to walk you through the real world of South Florida. Now you've seen the truth about living here in South Florida, not just the polished version on Instagram and TikTok, but the real trade-offs, the quiet wins, and the lifestyle most people don't really talk about until they're already here. But this is just one piece of the puzzle. If you want to dive deeper into what life actually looks like here, from community tours, local insights, hidden gems, real costs, and lifestyle breakdowns, check out the other videos on my channel. They'll help you explore South Florida the way real people live it, not just the way it's advertised on social media. Start with the ones that speak to you, and I'll meet you there.